When a film is successful and the studio starts seeing the money fly in, a sequel is almost inevitable. It doesn't matter whether it's necessary, or if the plot can even accommodate a sequel. If the studio sees an opportunity, they're probably going to take it. This can lead to some mixed outcomes. You've got great sequels like Terminator 2 and Aliens, and then you've got terrible sequels like the Jaws sequels, which are so bad I've had to discuss in their own separate video.
What the hell is even that?
But in some cases, sequels fly completely under the radar, and in the case of the films I'm going to talk about in this video, that was probably a good thing. I'm Firelink Frontier and welcome to the channel. If you want to support the channel, please like the video and subscribe. So the first sequel may come as a bit of a shock to most people, as they probably had no idea it even exists. American Psycho 2. American Psycho seems to have had a resurgence in popularity recently, as Patrick Bateman has become something of a meme.
Impressive. Very nice.
But at the time of its release in the year 2000, the film with its blend of horror and dark comedy was often misunderstood, with criticism for its violent nature. Nevertheless, it got a direct-to-video sequel in 2002. American Psycho 2 was directed by Morgan J. Freeman. No, not that one. And it stars Mila Kunis and William Shatner.
What?
It's a standalone sequel and bears little relation to the first film. In fact, the screenplay for the film was originally called The Girl Who Wouldn't Die, and had no connection to American Psycho at all. The studio was probably just trying to cash in on the American Psycho name, so elements were added to the film to link them together. You'll see that trying to cash in on the original film's name is a run-in theme on this list. The film follows Rachel Newman, played by Mila Kunis, a criminology student who murders her classmates to advance her career. It was panned by critics and denounced by the author of the book that the first film was based on. Mila Kunis later stated she regretted even starring in the film. Keeping on the topic of psychos, the Alfred Hitchcock classic Psycho has got not one, not two, but 3 sequels. Anthony Perkins returns for each one to play Norman Bates, the disturbed man who operates the Bates Motel. Psycho 2 is a direct sequel to the first film, picking up 22 years later after Norman Bates is released from prison. The other 2 sequels were less well received, with the 4th film acting as both a sequel and a prequel. It also seems to ignore the events of the first 2 films, instead acting as a direct sequel to the original. The sequels are also all in colour, which I feel makes them less scary. There's something eerie about black and white films, and I love the way they look. Did you know there's also a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho, starring Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates? Now you may be wondering what's the point of a shot-for-shot remake, when you could just watch the original, and I've no idea either.
This looks strangely familiar.
It's because we've been here before. We're going in circles.
Now Home Alone is a Christmas classic. You've probably heard of its one good sequel and the 2 terrible ones, but did you also know that there's a Home Alone 5 and 6?
The one man who made a difference 5 times before is about to make a difference again.
Home Alone 5 is a direct-to-television film, so that's probably why most people haven't even heard of it. It's also terrible. It no longer follows the McAllister family, instead focusing on the Baxter family, as they move from California to Maine, and settle in their new house at Christmas time. It wasn't well received, and I honestly have no idea why it even exists. It was made direct for television, so it's not like they were even hoping to make a load of money at the box office.
We just need money. One more decent take and we're gone.
Home Alone 6, or Home Sweet Home Alone, was somehow received even worse than Home Alone 5. Now this one I actually remember coming out, and it was released in 2021. It premiered on Disney Plus and focuses on Max Mercer, who's been left home alone when his family travels to Japan. It's the same basic plot as the first film, reused again, and there's really no point even watching it. It lacks all the charm and heart of the original 2. Chris Columbus, who directed the first 2 films, was critical of the decision to make a 6th one. He said, "In this version of Hollywood that we live in, everybody is remaking everything, and rebooting everything. I mean, there's a Home Alone reboot coming out. What's the point? The movie exists. Let's just live with the movie that existed. There's no point in any of us remaking The Wizard of Oz. There's no point in any of us remaking the classic films. Make something original, because we need more original material." You know, last Christmas I re-watched Home Alone. I think it was the first time I'd watched it as an adult, and it's actually a really good film. It's a great family film and has got a nice message for children, and the first sequel is basically the exact same film, except in New York, yet I still like that film too. Staying on the topic of Christmas films, another Christmas classic is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Now you may have enjoyed watching Chevy Chase as Clark Griswold and following his family on their misadventures, but how would you like to watch a film that follows his cousin Eddie instead?
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's another made-for-television film, and while it's considered a sequel, it's probably more of a spin-off. It's the only vacation film that Chevy Chase doesn't appear in, and it's easy to see why. Again, it was received very poorly, and I have no idea why it even exists. The last film in this video is probably the most famous of the list. Now you may have enjoyed The Mask, starring Jim Carrey, but how would you like a film about The Mask without him in it? You may think that sounds terrible, but this film follows Tim Avery, played by Jamie Kennedy, who has a son born with the powers of the mask. Now doesn't that sound entertaining? It probably won't surprise you that the film bombed. It had a budget of $84 to $100 million, only to make back $59.9 million. It also has one of the lowest Rotten Tomatoes scores I've ever seen, at 5%, and received mostly negative reviews. The site's consensus reads, overly frantic, painfully unfunny, and sorely missing the presence of Jim Carrey. I don't know what they were thinking releasing a Jim Carrey film without Jim Carrey in it. Let's hope they learn their lesson and won't do that again. Oh, never mind, they did. Hollywood can't stop themselves making sequels, no matter how unnecessary they are. A lot of people seem to think that this is a new thing, but this has been happening for a long time. It doesn't even matter if the plot of the original film needs a sequel. If there's money to be made, then there probably will be a sequel. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm Firelink Frontier and thank you for watching. If you'd like to help the channel grow, please consider liking and subscribing.